Good evening, folks. Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal, depending on who you ask. Good to see all of you folks here. Lot went on today in terms of statements over the last 24 hours or so. Lot went on, and I see in the comments, Ezra says racism is hard work. Wow. And good evening to you, Docidio. It's 2 weeks later, and we are still at it. Yeah. And I think you're going to see that in 2 more weeks from now. I don't think any of this is going to be over with anytime soon. I don't look. They're saying right now, I think some of you guys may have heard that Israel targeted the oil supply in Iran that was meant for its own citizens. So Israel targeted the energy supply of Iran. Just I suppose kind of like what they did to Gaza, to the Palestinians, kind of like, make life miserable for them, cut the power, try to starve them out, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. Well, when they bombed Iran's oil supply, Iran responded by bombing Qatar's oil supply, because that's what a lot of the Western nations and a lot of our allies, including us, we use that. So as they're saying now that Iran has destroyed 17% of Qatar's oil supply. That's going to translate into oil going up per barrel. And of course, we're going to pay more for that. That's going to translate into us dealing with that. Real quick in the comments, certainly on TikTok, let me know if you guys can hear me okay on TikTok, because I see Juice is saying something wrong with the mic. Let me know on TikTok if you guys can hear me okay. If so, we'll continue on. Otherwise, I may have to reset TikTok. If you guys can hear me okay on YouTube, let me know as well before we get to the show. Okay, King B, everybody saying okay. Let me know if you can hear me okay on the other apps. Not the busiest politician, the busiest president. Oh, president, politician, you say it's not clear. It's a little muffled. Okay, so TikTok, give me a second. I see on the other apps you guys are saying it sounds good. Give me a minute on TikTok. I don't know what happened. I'll reset it on TikTok. So give me a second. And we'll end that. Don't know why it's doing that. Don't know why, but let me go ahead and give me a minute to reset this damn app. I hate when I come on the show and something like that takes place, but I gotta reset TikTok, obviously, because that's where our callers come from. TikTok, Instagram, and TikTok, Instagram, and Substack. Sometimes we take callers from those other apps as well. So let's see what happens. Hopefully we should be able to just give it a shot in. I'm not going to reset the device, so if not, we'll see what happens. Okay, so thank God, no more Gangsta Grandma. Well, Gangsta Grandma was a very, very popular guest. A lot of folks like Gangsta Grandma. A lot of folks didn't like Gangsta Grandma, but there's a lot of my viewers that like her. So she's kind of a acquired taste, so to speak. There's a lot of viewers that like Gangsta Grandma, so we'll see what happens with that, though. But this is not a show. This is a circus, says Dankstar. Well, welcome to the circus, Dank. Appreciate you coming in. We're in very bad shape. Depends on who you ask. Okay, so continuing on the show. Lock the doors, Tim. She's peeking through the windows. What are you saying, Alter Ego? The Gangsta Grandma is peeking through my windows? Yikes. Okay, so getting on with the actual show. A lot of things have happened. We'll go ahead and start tackling some of this. And then, of course, we will start taking callers. You guys know how the program runs. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 10,000. We'll take the first caller on TikTok at said number. Now, I think there's an ample amount of you folks that tend to believe that President Trump would not have attacked Iran had it not been for Netanyahu and Israel. I can't listen. We can't speak for the president whether or not he would have done that, but a lot of folks do believe the only reason we're at war with Iran is some way, somehow, Benjamin Netanyahu convinced President Trump that this was an imminent threat. I want you to hear something, though. And this is coming from a source I never thought I'd play, but I want to get your opinion on it because it does sound kind of interesting. As you can see on my monitor, I have Nick Fuentes queued up. Not somebody you would normally hear from me on this show whatsoever. But something was said by Mr. Fuentes, and I'm trying to get my camera straight here. Something was said by Fuentes that I think is interesting. And I'm not going to take it at face value, but I do want to hear your opinion on this. And my eyebrows went up because Twisted Sailor said, "Did you hear about the 19-year-old wrestler Iran hung today?" No. Is it an Iranian citizen? They hung a wrestler. Okay, I mean, they hung him for what reason? What country is he from? There's a little bit more I need to know on that. In e-commerce, Straight Talk Commerce says the left is the only one talking imminent threat. Well, that's what we're going to talk about. So I got Nick Fuentes queued up. I want you to hear this. It's a minute or so long, but I want to get your opinion on it because Nick Fuentes is, I'm going to be honest, Nick Fuentes is not someone I take at face value, but I did believe this. I do think this is interesting. This was presented by another content creator. So he does speak for a few seconds in between the clip, but check this out.
I was going to post about how Donald Trump got suckered into a war with Iran, but I just saw that Nick Fuentes beat me to it. And look, I know how we all feel about Nick Fuentes, but in this clip, he's factually correct. Listen to what he says, and then I'm going to play you all the receipts that I had that proves the same point. Watch.
Just a fact. Don't let me inconvenience you. Do you know who stood in the way of this entire thing? Joe Biden. Joe Biden did. Because Joe Biden did not take the bait. He didn't take Israel's bait and fight Iran.
Here's what he means about taking the bait, because here's Antony Blinken, who served under Biden as his Secretary of State, basically confirming the same thing.
After the October 7th attack on Israel, the horrific attack on Israel by Hamas, the Israelis were insisting that in the north, Hezbollah from Lebanon was about to attack. And they wanted to strike preemptively against Hezbollah. And President Biden said, look, we're with you. We'll always be with you in defending Israel. And if you're attacked, we're there. But we're not there if you're going to start something. And we came within about 30 minutes of having a war in the north based on bad information that the Israelis had about an imminent attack from Hezbollah. We were able to avert that.
And we know Antony Blinken is telling the...
Real quick, I just want to interrupt you for a quick second. You hear what he's saying is that the Israelis tried to convince Joe Biden to attack Iran also by suggesting that Iran was an imminent threat and something was about to happen. And you hear the individual state that the Biden administration told Israel, we have your back if Iran attacks you, but we're not going to do a preemptive strike. And it turned out the information coming from Israel was bad information. Now, I know many of you may already be aware that Israel gave us bad information on weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. That came from Israel as well. There's plenty of video of I think it was Benjamin Netanyahu then. Benjamin Netanyahu stating on the world stage that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. But you do hear him state that they tried to get Biden to do it, which is why you heard Nick Fuentes say that Biden prevented the war from happening under his watch.
And we know Antony Blinken is telling the truth because Marco Rubio, the person who is now in Antony Blinken's job today, told us that. Watch.
We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties.
And of course, Trump was asked about it, and here's what he said.
And it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack if we didn't do it. If anything, I might have forced Israel's hand.
And of course, Donald Trump is not going to come out and say that he was suckered into getting into a war with Iran. However, the fact that Antony Blinken is citing an intelligence report, that was faulty. The fact that it looks like Marco Rubio is repeating those same talking points from that faulty intelligence. And then, of course, we have this defense official testifying, saying that Marco Rubio was telling the truth. Watch.
Do you dispute Secretary Rubio's statement? I think Secretary Rubio inadvertently told the truth.
I agree with you that Secretary Rubio told the truth.
And even Netanyahu was asked about this, and here's what he said.
Donald Trump is the strongest leader in the world. He does what he thinks is right for America.
To me, that sounds like a diplomatically worded pat on the head for the guy that got suckered into war with Iran.
Now, I'm not going to go into any of the commentary by the social media content creator. He obviously believes that Trump was suckered into a war against Iran. What I want to go into is what you think about it. If you feel like this content creator doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, then I want to hear that. But do you believe the montage he put together being illustrated? Because Nick Fuentes is the one that did this. And he's essentially narrating what came out of Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes, this guy is, I guess he's kind of like AKA Nick Shirley, but I believe he's more well known than Nick Shirley, but he's kind of in the same envelope. But do you think that Nick Fuentes, at least in regards to this, do you believe he is accurate or he's pulling something out of his ass? So we're going to talk about that. But in addition to that, I played this earlier on my platforms. I want you to hear this. I don't know if this is comedy. I don't even know how to look at this. And I got some more comedy coming from you that I think is darker. But I want you to hear this, if I can get it queued up in terms of the right time frame. But you guys know who Stephen A. Smith is of ESPN fame. Well-known, probably the most well-known sports commentator in our lifetime. I don't think there's anybody that comment on sports that is more well-known at this point than ESPN, than Stephen A. Smith. But anyhow, just like with Nick Fuentes, we're not here to really go into whether or not you like Stephen A. Smith. He is also a controversial figure. Nowhere near so as Nick Fuentes, but he is controversial. And now that he's gotten into politics, that's only likely going to increase. But just like with Nick Fuentes, Stephen A. Smith makes a comment that I want you guys to hear. And just like with Nick Fuentes, I'm trying to plug in my damn charger, but just like with Nick Fuentes, I want to get your opinion on this, because once again, this is something I find to be of interest.
This is what I don't believe. This is me imitating Trump, not his voice, just his behavior. You ain't shit. You'll never be shit. You never was shit. I can't stand you. You disgust me. You mean nothing to me. By the way, give me your help.
Does that sound like Trump, or does that sound like Stephen A. Smith pulling something out of his ass? Now I'm gonna play. I actually queued it up in the wrong spot, but you kind of hear the gist of it. But there's a little bit more to it. Then does that sound like our president, or is Stephen A. Smith just making up shit?
They have. Who knows what allies they may attack. You got Trump, got the audacity, the unmitigated gall to have the attitude with NATO and folks under its umbrella because they won't come to his aid and support the United States in the war against Iran. Do you not remember how you talked about them and how you treated them when you threw tariffs at their ass every 2 seconds? You think they forgot? You think they forgot? I mean, you can't make this up. This is some nonsense. How many times have I tried to tell y'all? Stephen A. Smith's a capitalist. Proud of it. Ain't gonna be a socialist, ain't gonna be a communist. I ain't down for that. I'm an American citizen. I'm proud to be an American. I'm a capitalist all day, every day. I don't give a damn what nobody say. Let me be very, very clear. Here's what I don't believe. This is me imitating Trump, not his voice, just his behavior. You ain't shit. You'll never be shit. You never was shit. I can't stand you. You disgust me. You mean nothing to me. By the way, give me your help. That's Trump. Germany, Greece, Canada, China. I mean, this is basically how he talked. Where did you think that was going to get you?
And that's what I want to ask is Stephen A. Smith pulling this one out of his ass, or does that sound accurate? In the comments, inaccurate or accurate? Does this sound like he's pulling, saying some, something that might be insulting about the commander in chief, or does it sound like an accurate mocking of him? Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, see, someone stated, I think something to the notion of, President Trump calls it like he sees it. I think I saw that somewhere in there. Listen, there's nothing wrong with calling things like you see it, but understand you are talking to chancellors, prime ministers, and presidents of other countries. They have a voting base they got to answer to. So if you talk to someone like Stephen A is indicating, and their voters hear that, and they decide to then help you out, how are their voters going to view them? Let's say, for instance, somebody said a bunch of awful shit about President Trump, similar to what Stephen A. Smith is claiming that Trump says about other people. And then when that individual that spoke awful of Trump needed help, Trump came to his rescue. How would American voters view Trump? I understand that. These people have folks they got to answer to in these countries. So if you're celebrating him, tearing him a new one, understand that them folks have people to answer to. And they're hearing how we talk to their leaders. They're hearing this stuff. So I do want to get your opinion on Stephen A. and whether or not you think he's full of it or quite accurate. Tap the screen, get the likes up. We're about to take callers shortly here, but I told you we had a couple statements. And this one here, wow, I think a few of you may have heard of this, but I'm going to just say this one here. This one takes the cake. This happened a few hours ago. The Japanese prime minister was here. Obviously, this is in the Oval Office, and they're sitting together. There's an interpreter because I don't think the prime minister speaks English. Nobody speaks English as well as Netanyahu. I mean, Zelensky speaks English, but Netanyahu speaks English almost like he was born here. But I don't think the Japanese prime minister speaks it at all. So I'm not going to play the Japanese portion of it. I'm going to start out with President Trump because he says something that's very interesting. And I want to get your take on this as well.
Well, one thing you don't want to signal too much, when we go in,
Before I say that, let me just make it clear. He's talking about our invasion into Iran. So let me make sure I make that clear what he's actually discussing.
Well, one thing you don't want to signal too much, when we go in, we went in very hard and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? He's asking me, no, you believe in surprise, I think much more so than us. And we had a...
So he's making comedy about Japan surprising us on December 7th, 1941. Obviously costing the lives of over 2,300 Americans. He's making jokes about the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor and indicating that Japan knows more about surprises than we do. I'll just ask right off the bat, is that fair game in comedy? Because it was clearly meant to be comical. Is that fair game in comedy? Or is it perhaps inappropriate to make light of a sacred memorial event like that cost the lives of so many Americans? That's one of the worst attacks we've sustained on U.S. soil in our history. I mean, I guess 9/11, I mean, it's kind of right. There were more lives lost on September 11, but obviously that's our introduction into World War II. So that was a pretty somber event, a day that will live in infamy. I think you've all heard that statement. Last but not least, getting on with the show, and we're going to start taking callers almost immediately here. But I do want to ask you folks, just simply put, a couple of years ago, if you had once Trump won, Kamala Harris lost, Biden was out, and you had Trump, estimating how America would go, do you believe we're currently, based on your estimations, are we doing better than you expected a couple of years ago? We'd be doing worse, or pretty much going as you expected? Better, worse, or are we going as you would expect? So that is today's show. It is indeed, as always, free speech. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You guys know we are MAGA friendly. Zero censorship as always. Our comments go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. You can be critical of anyone on this program, including yours truly. So looking in the comments, and by the way, for my YouTube viewers, smash that like button, helps out the algorithm. So looking in the comments, no one in family died. Nobody in your family died there in Pearl Harbor, inviting the Donald Humor and his followers giggle. I don't understand. Are you saying it's okay or not? You says no one in family died there in Pearl Harbor, inviting the Donald Humor and his followers giggle. I don't, the wording of that makes sense. Pearl Harbor comment was a kick to the balls. Now, keep in mind, people do have family that died there. He is making jokes about, there's this rumor, and I'm going to say rumor. I think General Milley said there's this rumor that Trump was at, over in Normandy at grave sites and referred to them as suckers and losers. That's a rumor. There's some rumors that Trump has made statements about the military, but this one obviously is not a rumor because you've seen it on camera. So going straight to the box, we started out with Miss Mo Betta. Good evening, Miss Mo Betta. Welcome to the program. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So what do you think in regards to his reference? I'm trying to turn the volume up here, but what do you think in regards to his reference of Pearl Harbor? Do you think that is, fair game in comedy or somewhat inappropriate?
First of all, he's not a comedian. So let's get that straight right there. Fair in comedy, how from him? He is the joke. He is the joke.
But
number two, he has no moral. Number three, he's never served in any kind of military, any kind of capacity of the military. So he has no respect for it. You understand what I'm saying? Whether people were lost or not, he still doesn't respect it.
Why do you say he doesn't respect it? I mean, when they brought bodies home to dignified transfer, he was there saluting.
Yeah, did he have his cap on that day? What?
I mean, he might have been headed.
What are we doing here?
He might have been headed. He may have been headed to a ball game afterwards. I don't know. He had a white cap on. Yeah.
It served 2 times as president ain't saying shit for him. You see the price of gas today, and normally the president has very little to do with the gas, but it's all on him this time.
Well, yeah, it's going to be hard because of the fact, simply put, we're at war, and the war has everything to do with the rising gas prices.
A war that he inserted himself into. They didn't nobody drug us there. He inserted it. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he didn't insert himself. He's the creator of it.
No, I was going to say, his pimp made sure we was in it, which is BB. BB is his fucking pimp. Trump is the bitch.
So, pimp. So you actually sound like you kind of agree with Nick Fuentes that Netanyahu goaded us in the war.
Yeah.
But
Israel is the president of our country.
Damn. But how do you respond to Netanyahu himself on television saying that? Do you really think anybody tells Trump what to do? He's indicating, look, Trump is a self-made man that does whatever the hell he wants. Nobody tells Trump what to do. How do you respond to that?
You see how fucked up things. His lies and shit cost lives. Trump's lies cost lives. Anything that he sets up or does, somebody's losing their life.
Yeah, but how do you address the belief that Iran was about to go atomic? And as Trump says, had we not attacked, they not only would have developed a nuclear bomb by now, they would have used it.
If frogs had wings, they wouldn't flop their ass on the ground either, Tim. If frogs had wings,
they would
not flop their ass on the. You know how long they've been saying what Iran was going to do with these so-called weapons?
Yeah.
You can go back even way back before Clinton. They've been talking the same bullshit. Netanyahu has been talking that bullshit.
So so you don't believe Iran was even trying to seek a nuclear bomb?
No, they were not. Iran was over there minding their business. Those minerals and shit they use for their stuff over there to run their energy and all kinds of stuff. They use it for other things other than just a nuclear bomb. And all of that, they still haven't came. Show me the nuclear bomb that they were going to make if they were making it for this last 30 years. Where is it?
Well, thanks to our president, to my beloved MAGA, he obliterated it. So it's not around to show you.
So what are they doing over there now then? Because he was talking that shit back in June.
Well, now they're allegedly making sure that the same state sponsors of terrorism are no longer alive. So they're killing the heads of the snake.
And guess what? That the body that they left over there is still doing damage. They're still in the fight. So all of that claiming they killed the head it was cocky. Y'all killed the so-called leader, but everybody else that was around him, they took on that leadership role. They like, and you know what they said? We're gonna fight to the death.
Well, I think Netanyahu is willing to oblige that. If they're willing to fight to the death, Netanyahu, I think, is at the mindset of, well, this is a good time to get rid of this threat once and for all.
He lied bigger than Trump. His ass lied more than Trump. Because he's the one who keep going around saying what Iran is going to do. It's him. And again, this little bitch that's in the office now, he fell right for the okie doke, Tim.
Wait a minute. We're talking about heads of state, Miss Mobetta. Who are you calling a bitch?
Those heads of state?
You're not referring to our President Trump as a bitch, are you not?
Oh, he is. He weak as fuck.
But
he's weak.
Is that not
weak?
You would admit you're really disrespecting the office, though. And thank you for that, Gerald.
He disrespects the office. Tim, he gets on TV, be calling people out of their name and all that shit. How do you expect people to respect that?
You sound.
He called Gavin Newsom. He knows Gavin Newsom's name. How do you supposed to respect that? Listen, we're in the age of matching energy. What you give out is what you're gonna get back, and that's on period. So you favor folks.
I get that you don't like the rhetoric coming from Trump, but you favor having folks disrespect our president.
Nope, he set that precedent. So that comes along with the territory. You go around effing with people, you gonna go around and find out too. He's in the fuck around and find out stage. That's why he's begging our allies to get out there and do something. Because you went around fucking with them, now you need their help. You're like, oh, well, so no, people are not putting up with that shit anymore.
You kind of sound like, did you hear the Stephen A. Smith clip I played?
Yeah, I heard him. You know who he reminds me of? Marjorie Taylor Greene.
How? Explain that one.
Because he gets up there and talks hella shit about people. You understand what I'm saying? When he was blowing on them orange nuts too, and now all of a sudden he got a problem with him.
Wait! You're saying that Stephen A. Smith was supporting Trump?
Go back and watch.
Yeah, I've watched him. I think.
He was a big supporter of his, and now what he thinks he's gonna be like. May he rest in peace, the late Jesse Jackson. Go get into running for president or some shit, and he gonna have them 88 votes. Jesse Jackson had.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think because of how Stephen A. Smith got into politics, like you're talking about speaking favorably of Trump. I've been watching him on News Nation and stuff like that. That pretty much kills his chances because he obviously would not rise to the top of the Republican Party. And once you started saying what you said about Trump, the Democrats aren't going to favor you very much either. So I think he's kind of done.
His ass should have stuck to sports.
Well, he's
fucking Munchie T. I don't like his ass either. He got a big mouth.
Well, he's still really, really big as a sports commentator, but political wise, he probably is going to have to stick to commentating. I don't think maybe if he ran for Congress or Senate in certain jurisdictions, he might.
None of that. He better go to Roger Goodell and ask him could he get a high position over there or some shit. Like, get out of here.
He could
get out of politics. He thinks because he speaks loud that you can be loud and right and you're wrong because your delivery is fucked up.
But,
so you have to. That's just like y'all say about gangster grandma. Y'all be mad because she be up here the white protein and all of that shit. But a lot of shit she say is correct, but you can't get past the delivery.
Gangster grandma has broke up with the program. Gangster grandma got pretty upset. Yeah,
she quit you.
Yeah, she said she's never coming back. Man, remember the drawings where the guy has a stick and it's got his clothes on the back of it. She walked away. She left. She left me. So, yeah, Gangster grandma.
Your
ahead.
TikTok wife broke up with you? Oh.
I didn't do anything. Listen, I got folks in the comments all the time. Some folks celebrate the loss of Gangsta, and other folks are like, we really like her. So she really is an acquired taste. A lot of people like her. She got mad, and it is what it is.
They do. A lot of people do favor her because listen. We live in a country of mess. We just like the mess. It adds excitement to some people's lives that are boring. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
So let me ask you the topic at hand. Once you knew President Trump had won, you've seen his first term, which I've made it clear. I didn't think his first term was awful. I mean, the economy wasn't bad. There were no new wars, et cetera, et cetera. So his first term compared to 2.0 was a totally different president. But once you realize he was reelected, just asking, how did you feel at that moment compared to now? Did you think that the way right now, after almost a year and a half into his second term, are we doing better, worse, or about where you expected us to be, knowing he had got elected a year and a half out?
I knew it was worse. I knew it was going to be worse because he was speaking of vengeance before he was even elected. You already know what he had in his heart because his mouth said it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like this. If I had to talk to Ms. Mobetta, and I may have, if I had been talking to you a year and a half ago and I asked you, now that Trump just became the president-elect, how do you think it's going to be? Your description of you predicting what it would be like in March 2026, would that description have painted America as being worse than it is now, better than it is now? Because you would have said negative, but is it actually not as negative as you may have thought, more negative than you actually thought, or kind of going about where you expected it to go?
It's more, Tim. It's more. First of all, back in March of last year, he came in just firing people.
Yeah.
He got in office, opened up Doge, claimed that all of this waste, fraud, and abuse is going on, and started firing people. But all they were doing was opening up so where they can see they can shift the dollar. Because there's nothing that he's done that has gained that American citizens has gained. What have we gained other than more bills? Your electricity is up, fuel is up, food is up. Where is it better at? I'm still looking for it.
Well, the notion is via the tariffs. Okay, right now you can't see it, but it's almost like via the tariffs that will eventually turn into some sort of windfall for America.
You know how much money that he owed because of them tariffs?
Yeah.
Do you know what he did to the country because of those tariffs? Those illegal tariffs that he was doing? Listen, there was tariffs already on those people, on those countries and stuff. There's always going to be tariffs. Other than that, we never make any kind of money. However, Willie G said gas.
Yeah, I see that. What do you?
You either a bot or a troll, and go somewhere with that foolishness.
He must be coming to us live from Kyrgyzstan or something. Where is that?
He probably don't even have a car. You probably standing at the bus, and guess what? Even those fares went up.
No, he must be collecting farts. I don't know what kind of gas he's finding for cheaper. He must be collecting farts.
Which gas? And even that gas is higher because the food you ate costs more. So everything is fucking up. You know what I'm saying? So those orange nut liquors need to knock it off with that bullshit. You got airports that are about to close because of they're not paying the TSA.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that because I got a flight coming up in about 3 or 4 weeks, and I don't like that at all. I mean, and the thing about it is when you look at the Trump administration and how he's kind of I want to say he don't budge. He does not budge. So I don't see the Democrats ever getting what they want.
He hates to be wronged. So he'll lie to keep up a lie because he hates to be wrong. And he grew up that way. He didn't just get like that. This is how he grew up. And that's why his family talked so much shit about him because they knew who he was. But then they say every time you speak the truth or point out where he was lying and stuff like that, they say that you're hating. Because that's what they keep calling. Oh, it's the party of hate. No, you hate it. You hate the truth. That's what you hate.
Well, the suggestion is
Say that.
the suggestion is we needed a businessman. He is said person, and he was successful as a businessman, many would suggest. So he is what the country needed. And I see in the comments, the handsome conservative says, support your local liberal. Thank you there, handsome. I appreciate that.
Tap that screen, share the live, gift them. Yeah, do what you can. Tapping is free though. Tapping don't cost you anything. Tap and get the numbers out.
Thank you. Support the program, in other words. Thank you.
This is the only program that's uncensored. Everywhere else, you can't say bitch, you can't say shit, you can't. You got 20 people on this, so like, listen, tap the screen, share the live.
I appreciate that. Yeah, this is one of the programs where you can actually call the host names and we make it work. But
they call you all kind of boy, motherfucker.
and I don't know why. I am the nicest guy there ever will be. I don't know why people beat me up like that. I do not know.
Make it easy, Tim. Because you're so modest sometimes that you don't push back where you should, but don't worry about it. We'll handle that in the comments.
Yeah, the goal is to bring MAGA, no matter how far to the right you are, and liberals, no matter how far to the left you are, together in one form and make it work. Unfortunately, I'm the one that takes the heat from it oftentimes, but the goal is the goal is to make us work.
And we're gonna go back to this businessman, and like JJ was just saying in the comments, you'd be rich and successful too if you ain't pay your bills. You wasn't paying workers. You wasn't paying contractors. You was getting away from. You wasn't paying taxes. You wasn't paying shit. So you harbored all the money yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So that's an easy way to become financially rich.
Well, let me ask it to you like this. Obviously, you don't favor the direction Trump is leading America in as of now, but he still has over 2 years to win your heart. So I want to ask you about that. What could he do to be in more favor with Miss Mo Better?
Quit. And that's fair. And you know what? The crazy thing is, so when he came in, his first term, when he came in, he had Obama had the economy rocking or whatever, and he was running it well.
What happened? I have no audio. What happened, Miss Mo Better?
Can you hear me? I had a call.
Okay, all right. And by the way, when you said that he has to quit, the e-commerce guy, Straight Talk, says you are one of them types that cannot be made happy. Are you a la Prince? Maybe you're just like my mother. You're never satisfied.
What the hell? Where the fuck that come from? Because I don't like him. You slow for saying it.
No, he is saying. I asked you what could Trump do to win to win favor with you, and you said the only thing is quit. He's saying that you cannot be.
Quit. So, but now let me explain to you. Like I said, when he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to reason. He doesn't listen to professionals. He doesn't listen to anybody. He's dangerous. He's dangerous for us, believe it or not, because you don't allow anything to happen because you're either in favor of that person or something like that. He's dangerous for the country.
Well, I mean, do you feel in danger right now? I mean, he's been a president for 5+ years.
He out here fucking with the world, Tim. He fucking with these people. Why shouldn't we feel threatened? So again, let's not act like shit can't happen. They thought nothing could happen either on 9/11.
Yeah. How do you feel about? I played this earlier. How do you feel about his comment about Pearl Harbor and the Japanese knows about surprise? Why didn't they warn him about Pearl Harbor?
You know what the translator was saying to her, to the Japanese lady. She was like, "You should really hear what this dumb motherfucker just said."
Yeah,
that's what they would say.
She looks like a hostage when he's talking. I mean,
because they know he's just sitting up there bloviating. He doesn't speak intelligently when he's speaking to these people. He talks in circles. So how can you comprehend any of that stuff?
Wait a minute, that might not be fair, Mr. Mo, but how can you say the man doesn't speak intelligently? He's accomplished a lot in his life.
Yeah, by stealing.
He didn't steal the presidency. He convinced more folks than Kamala Harris to vote for him.
He didn't. It's the people around him that had the power did that shit. We ain't getting ready to go there.
Wait a minute.
It was rigged for him. And listen, and why you think they caught up with Elon ass down in Georgia? That shit was rigged as fuck, Tim.
Wait, are you wait a minute. Whoa. Are you suggesting that wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm getting clarity here. Are you suggesting the 2024 election was rigged?
Kamala beat him.
What? What the hell would make you say that?
Go look at what they caught Elon doing down there in Georgia. Go look at Rockland County here up north. Go look at all of that shit that happened up here. Come on now, that doesn't take rocket science.
Oh come! I don't know about that.
When he went down to Pennsylvania handing out $1 million checks and shit, what you thought that was for? Because he was being generous? Get the fuck out.
I mean, you drew the ire of Melissa K on YouTube. She says caller is full of shit. I don't know.
That's okay. They can feel how they want to feel. I ain't got nothing to do with me. Y'all go ahead, say what you want to say.
So you
That's not
believe
gonna change my mind about shit.
you believe Kamala Harris actually beat Trump?
Yep, and just like I told you how Erica had her husband taken out too. I guess y'all don't believe that shit either, huh?
Listen, I know there's a hell of a lot of folks that are watching. Some favor Trump, some do not like Trump. But even the ones that don't like Trump, I have not heard any even liberals say that Kamala Harris won. You kind of the first on that one.
She beat him. Period. She beat him.
That's a hard. That's a hard pill to swallow. But let me ask the guests that are watching by way of yes or no in the comments. How many of you folks think that Kamala Harris won in 2024? How many of you folks believe that Kamala Harris beat Trump?
Hillary did too. Hillary did too. Hillary beat his ass too. But yeah. People don't believe. Just because you don't see the evidence doesn't mean it didn't happen. Come on, we see how the shit running now. They don't want to believe it. And again, the thing about it is Trump really didn't control that. It's the people bigger than him that did it. The Rothschild, the Rothschild and them and all of them people like that, and Bibi and all of them. Those are the ones who control shit. Trump really
I'm going to go with tomorrow.
That's why I keep telling you he's Bibi's bitch.
Well, that's a different conversation. But before I let you go, Tamar in the comments made a statement that I'm kind of checking on that side. He says, I don't believe that in regards to Kamala Harris. When he said, I don't believe that, and I respect you, Queen. So he's saying he respects you, but he doesn't.
That's fine.
But let me ask you this: if Kamala won, why didn't she say that? Has she ever once said she won that election?
Because they know the powers that be too, Tim. They know the powers that be. See, this shit is bigger than John Coffey. I keep trying to tell you that shit, Tim. You don't be researching the right shit. You got listen. Don't even watch American news.
So you saying
go look up with Erica Kirk. Go look up with Erica Kirk and who she was really connected to.
So you believe she won?
You can't do that. Huh?
You believe she won, but out of fear, she chose to keep quiet about it?
No, I don't know why she didn't go after him or whatever.
Maybe she didn't go after him. Maybe she didn't go after him because she thinks she lost.
He beat them because I'm telling you, that's why they're still researching. That's why they still finding shit. That's how they just came up with the shit of what Elon did down in Georgia. That's how they came up with this. They know that. The up here in Rockland County, they know that a whole blue county. And how zero. They came up 0 votes for Kamala. That's bullshit.
Okay, you kind of sound like MAGA. I gotta move it on. I've never heard this before.
And watch how the shit get crazy. They got it down there when in Florida with this bill where they blocked it where cousins was getting married and shit. You got to look at those crazy ass bills and shit. Like these people are nuts, Tim. Why do you think none of this shit is not possible? I don't get it.
All right, fair enough. I'm just going to say.
All right, one more thing, and then
really quick.
I'm not expecting his supporters, his fans, to agree or believe anything that I say. Number one, they don't read or do or research anything. They still believe he won 2022. But
I'm not even hearing liberals say what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. Even liberals are not. Even Kamala Harris herself and Biden are not saying what you're saying.
She beat him.
All right. We'll leave it at that, Miss Mobetta. As always,
Bring
it's a
my boy
pleasure.
up, Mike. Yeah, yo.
All right, appreciate it. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 50,000. Help your boy out with the hat and mustache goal. Certainly would help out the program. Show the program some love. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button. I need you guys on YouTube to smash that like button. Helps out with the algorithm. If you happen to be watching on Instagram, Substack, or TikTok, follow the program. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, give us a sub. Straight Talk
Why did you
Commerce.
stop her? Why did you stop her?
Because I don't stop you, goddammit. It's about free
My food better
speech.
not be cold when it gets here. My food had better not be cold when it gets here.
Let me tell you
I'm
something.
telling you right now.
Let me
no
tell you
tip.
something. Hold on. Let me tell you. I don't stop her because I don't stop you. I'm about free speech. So she gets to speak just like you do. What
No,
is she?
I didn't say why. No, you misheard me. Listen to what I'm saying to you. Why did you stop her? I was sitting here pissing my pants. This woman, that was entertainment, dude. I couldn't have paid you enough for that.
Okay. Well, now it's
I
your
love that lady.
now it's your turn to entertain. President Trump joking about Pearl Harbor. What say you?
Did you see that? I watched that live.
What did you think of it?
Dude, he went deep. I mean, the look on that prime minister's face. Listen, and the Stephen A. Smith thing.
Wait a minute. You don't. We'll go to Stephen A. You got time.
Listen, I'm telling you.
Let's start with
listen,
Pearl.
listen
Wait.
to
Let's
what I'm
start. I
saying.
asked you
Stop
about. Wait.
interrupting
Hold
me.
on. I asked you about Pearl Harbor. You immediately went to Stephen A. What do you
No,
think
they're
about him?
Related. They're
Well,
relating the two of them.
okay.
The two of them are related. Okay.
How so?
Okay. Now, stop interrupting me.
Well, shit, you're all over the place.
No, I'm not.
Clear it
There's
up.
a common theme here, and if you'll please just hush.
You do realize this is a show. Give me what you
Yes.
got. Give me what you got.
I'm about, yes. Anyone that's ever played a sport before has had a coach that says to you, you're not shit. Tells the whole team, you guys ain't shit. You guys aren't practicing. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. He stands there and tells you you are incapable. You can't do anything. Drill sergeants do it in the Army. He's breaking them down and shaming them and making them do the right thing.
Would that work on him? Would that work on him?
No, probably not.
Right then. So what the fuck you do? Give me Steve.
It works on everybody else.
No, it
works
don't.
on everybody else.
If
and
it
here's
worked
why.
on everybody,
Yes,
if it
does.
worked on everybody else, he would have a bunch of boats in the Strait of Hormuz. It didn't work on any damn body.
No. Tim, NATO budget went up to 5%. These countries are he's whipping them into shape. We didn't need them. You don't know that if he asked them or told them, hey, just keep it where you are, keep the boats where they are, no sense in getting
What?
a whole bunch of people over here. You have no idea.
So he posted on Truth Social how they all should send boats that he really didn't want them to send.
The UK offered a aircraft carrier group,
Right.
battle group.
Right.
So did France. He told them, remain in port. He told them, don't come. You should
Right.
have been here. You should have been here to support this when
Right.
the time was right.
I covered
But you
that.
weren't.
I covered that. I covered him saying we don't need you to join wars already won. That
Yeah.
was about 10 days ago. And then a couple of days later, before earlier this week, now he's saying the UK and all them citizenships. I don't get the message. It seems mixed to me.
No. He said they should have sent ships.
No, he didn't say should have.
Yes, he did. And he also told Japan today that they should have sent those minesweepers, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And they expect us to shoulder most of the water when it comes to protecting them. He's letting everyone in Europe know that you guys need to do a better job of protecting yourselves. And by the way, I listened to the head of NATO, the head of Poland, and the head of Finland on a panel today, repeating word for word what President Trump's been telling them.
What?
Yes, they totally agree. The head of NATO this morning said, listen, I know half of the people in this room are not going to like me defending the president, but he's telling you in very plain language things that we've been discussing as leaders for a very long time.
No. Look, here's where I think you got a bunch of this wrong. First of all, your whole claim of like a drill sergeant thing, these are prime ministers, chancellors, and other presidents.
A very small nation.
No, wait. Doesn't matter. They got millions
It does
of.
matter.
No, it doesn't. They got millions of constituents that view them as their leader. You can't have some foreign country guy talking all kinds of shit to you and your constituents hearing that. That makes
You would be right. You would be right if it was just some random, Guatemala, but it ain't. It's the president of the United States.
I don't think that matters as much as you're
Think
talking
what you
about.
want. It is definitely the case.
Yeah.
It's definitely the case.
So you're telling me because America is the world superpower, that the citizens of Canada and the citizens of the UK and all of that, they're okay with Trump treating their prime minister like shit and saying all kinds of awful stuff.
Half of Canada agrees with the president.
No, they don't.
Yes,
They don't even
Just
come here
because
anymore.
You say they don't doesn't mean they don't. They do. They're trying to separate from Canada now. God
They
damn,
don't-
I mean, listen, you struggle because I've shown you over and over and over again. You keep bringing up WMDs with Bush. I show you over and over again that there were WMDs. We absolutely needed to do what we needed to do.
So why did Trump suggest that Bush should have been impeached for that war? If there actually was WMDs, why did Trump say he should be impeached?
Yeah, he's wrong about that.
What else is he wrong about?
That's it. Bring it up. Tell me what else you think he said.
I think some of the stuff you're claiming is wrong.
I showed you. I showed you the physical proof. I told you where to find it. There is physical proof on the internet right now.
I'm gonna tell you this. I have not heard any world leader.
Hold
on, hang on. Since that, it doesn't matter what link. I haven't heard any world leader, any representative of this country adamantly stating they actually had weapons of mass destruction. You can send me links. Why are there no senators, no Congress people saying it?
Well, because it's not politically correct. Everyone has accepted this idea that there were no weapons of mass destruction when there were 8,000
It's
people.
not in this environment. You're trying to convince me that politicians choose to keep quiet because something's not politically correct?
There are a ton of people that believe aliens live off this planet.
That ain't what I just asked you.
Listen, people believe a lot of things, dude.
No. What I don't believe.
What can you physically prove?
Go ahead.
What can you physically prove?
I can physically prove that ain't nobody keeping their damn mouth quiet because it is not politically correct. In this environment, people are saying whatever the hell they want. You're gonna tell me that hold on. You're gonna tell me that they actually knew Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, and all of them in unison decide not to say anything about it because it is not politically correct.
Listen, not only did they have them, they used them. I showed you.
Where are the senators and Congress people talking about it?
I just told you. I just explained.
That ain't believable.
The story that they want to go. Did you ever hear the story of the Tuskegee Airmen?
Yeah, I know the story.
Okay. Did it take a long time for them to admit what they were doing to those airmen?
Yeah, but that's because.
Okay, but nothing.
Yeah,
Sometimes
that
the
makes
truth
no
takes
sense.
a while to come out.
That makes no sense. Let me tell you something.
It makes no sense to experiment on some of your pilots and then deny that you're doing it.
Why would it not be politically correct to admit we went to war for the right reason? They did have weapons. Why would that not be politically correct?
Because the politics at the time were that Bush was doing a bad thing. And the Democrats wanted to be in power. The liberals wanted to be in power.
What about now? What about now? Why aren't they coming out and saying it now?
Because we've moved past it. The same thing. Hold on.
We moved past it.
You won't even look at the links that I've shown you. The physical monument to 8,000 people, you won't even go and bother yourself to look at.
Okay.
They've already convinced you. The wool is over your eyes.
What's convinced me is the fact that no senator, governor, or none of them. We talk about old politics all the time. Literally the biggest war, the longest lasting war in our lifetime, may have been fought for the right reasons, according to you, and they all decided to keep that secret because, well, we moved on from it. And that makes sense to you.
Honestly, hold on. If they honestly believed he went over there for no reason, why didn't they arrest him? Why was he not arrested and thrown in prison?
They don't want to set a bad precedent to do it because otherwise it would happen in the future.
What would be the bad precedent? We jail leaders who go in on and start wars on lies. That's a good precedent.
Well, we have been
They
mistreating.
did not want him going to court and proving his assertion.
And I
That's
see,
why.
and I see in the
Let
comments.
me help you.
I see in the comments someone is
With you.
yeah, what you're saying is crazy. Somebody in the comments says Gangsta Grandma, please come back. Hold on
Please
before
come back. I saw that.
yeah, and I see Mr. G says Trump ain't shit. Says holding the American people hostage. So he said it.
Listen, I hate Jews is not a political
Don't
position.
even say those words
Okay?
together. Oh my god, that may
That's
get
what
the
you. That's all you guys say all day
No,
long.
no,
That's
no.
what
That
you're
ain't what I'm
for.
talking
Yes,
about.
you
Hold on.
do.
Hold the fuck on. I'm all about free speech, but those 3 words you said can trigger the goddamn apps. Don't. I know you're not saying it
Well,
personally.
that's true.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't
you
say
guys
that.
say it in
Don't
not
say
so
that.
many words every time you try to make
Okay,
a
but
political argument.
I get what you're trying to say, but use a synonym. That'll trigger the apps. But I think it's crazy though that you're trying to convince me that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, and our entire government collectively decided to say we're
Listen,
not going
I'm
to talk
not
about
trying
it.
to convince you. If you would actually look at the evidence that I gave to you, you would be convinced to yourself. And by the way, he killed over 8,000 Kurdish people by using them. So stop with your he didn't have them. They did not die of vitamin D deficiency. They died of sarin, BX, anthrax. He was testing weapons on them.
Did Trump not look at the links? How do you know that? And Trump that has access to everything confidential, he don't know it.
I'm telling you right now, you know it. Everyone in the world
Hold
knows
on.
it. We're just choosing to ignore it.
I'm trying to figure out Trump with access to virtually everything. Obama had access to everything. Why don't they say it?
Answer for me why you wouldn't arrest the man responsible for lying and getting us into a war. I mean, that should be a massive. We destroyed a country, liberated Kuwait. Okay, we liberated Kuwait and destroyed a country, the military of a country, over a lie. Is that what we did?
I mean, America is known for doing that. We break treaties and tell lies all the
That's just
time.
par for the course. That's
Yeah,
what you think?
actually it is. Yeah.
Okay, and we don't arrest people. I mean, you have
I
got.
mean, wait, hold on. The
You're
U.S.
not demanding his arrest.
No, the U.S. Navy deliberately gave black sailors syphilis. Nobody got arrested from. We do bad shit all the time and not arrest people for it. That ain't nothing new.
I thought it was the Army. I thought it was Army.
I thought it doesn't matter. You know what happened to
The
Americans.
military did it.
Yeah,
I brought it up
so-
to you. Of course we did.
Yeah, people never get it. We do bad shit all the time. I mean, Agent Orange
Yeah, but
is
I
another
don't
one.
deny it, and I want to punish the people who do the
We
bad
don't
shit.
do that though. We do not punish. We don't punish the government for doing. I mean, you got people that's been locked up in Guantanamo without any charges at all for years. Nobody's going to get in trouble. They're getting waterboarded and everything. That's what we do. That's what America does.
I realize you're using the royal we. Don't include me in that. If you ever said to me, "Let's go get these some guys,"
You can say that.
and stop this, I would be right beside you. I don't want that either.
But I'm just going to tell you your theory. Your theory of they had weapons of mass destruction and trying to explain why the whole government is quiet about that is insane.
Everyone in the world, even Saddam Hussein admitted it, said he wasn't going to give them up. Hans Blix. You remember that name, Hans Blix?
I remember
Who was
the name.
Hans Blix?
I don't know who he was, but I remember hearing his name.
NATO. He was the NATO weapons inspector that went over into Iraq and said, yeah, he definitely
All right, well,
killed these people with these weapons.
we obviously are not going to agree on that, but what do you think? Okay, you gave me your opinion on what Stephen A. Smith said. So, in regards to making jokes about Pearl Harbor, what was your opinion on that?
Yeah, that was deep, dude. That went a little rough. Now,
what does that mean?
I will tell you something. I agree with the president. I agree with the sentiment, but do I necessarily think that with the prime minister? Look, I'm proud of him that he did it with the prime minister sitting right there.
You're making me dizzy. What do you think of what he said about making jokes about Pearl Harbor?
Listen, I didn't. That's not what I would have said. But I don't have,
Was it inappropriate at all? Was it inappropriate?
Yeah, there were some ways that was not an appropriate comment.
Some ways. Give me some ways that it was inappropriate. Tell me how it was inappropriate.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you the look on her face, it was definitely hurtful. We don't want to say those things to the prime minister with the prime minister sitting right there. Now, she chose not to comment on it. She would have been well within her rights to comment and say, wait a minute, that was a little below the belt. Let's keep them above the belt, President Trump.
So you think it was below the belt towards
I asked a very dumb question.
Wait a minute, before you ask another dumb question, let me ask you this. You say it was below the belt to the Japanese. What about the folks that have family members that died in Hawaii? Was it below the belt to them?
No. And the reporter asked, you didn't play this, and that's the way you do. I get it, but this is what the reporter asked. The reporter asked, don't you think telling your allies before you do something like this would be appropriate? And the president said, wait a minute, the allies were not going to be involved. And so why would I tell them, why in the world would you show your hand prior to and let it leak and then more people get killed? Which is an entirely appropriate response.
Yeah.
That's when the president said, did you tell us when Pearl Harbor, you were coming for Pearl Harbor?
No, that ain't the way he said it. I mean, he started talking about the Japanese.
The whole clip. You can play the whole.
Well, even the part you're saying, you're really softening up what he. I mean, what you're saying is not comedy. What you're saying makes sense. What he did was actually made a joke out of it.
All you got to do is play the whole clip, baby. Play the clip. You have the clip.
Hold up. My computer is freezing because I do have the clip and I'm trying to play it, but my computer's freezing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why we're even talking about this. You can
because you're trying to spin it is why we're talking about it.
I'm not. I'm trying to get you to play the damn clip.
But what else?
I'm wrong. I will be very plain in my language and saying that I'm wrong. But they'll get to hear it themselves.
Based on what you're saying, did he even make a joke about what happened on Pearl Harbor?
Yes, he was joking. He was being very serious, but he was actually trying in a certain way to be funny. Yes.
About a certain way to be funny about an attack that killed over
the room that were Americans laughed. The half that were Japanese did not find it.
Well, the half the room is the ones that show up to all of the Oval Office meetings and tell him how great he is.
I get it too. He was playing to his base. Do you realize that 100% of MAGA approves of the president? 100%.
Really? 100%?
Yeah.
I don't think that's true anymore.
CNN told me that yesterday. CNN made it very clear that 100% of Trump's base, the MAGA base, approves of the president. He has 100% of approval for MAGA. And I am including myself in that.
So you don't believe there is no... So what happened with Marjorie Taylor Greene? She's not MAGA? She wasn't MAGA?
Nope.
Marjorie Taylor Greene was not MAGA. So give me your definition of MAGA then.
Hold on. You just said a key word there. You skipped right over. You said a key word. She was MAGA, then got refused for a job, and then she's no longer MAGA. She was MAGA because she wanted a job.
So what you're saying is 100% of his base approves of him, but tomorrow that number could be smaller than it is today.
I'm not saying it. I'm telling you what CNN told me yesterday. CNN told me yesterday 100% of MAGA agrees with the president, supports the president. You know the dude that does all their polling?
Yeah, I watch it in the morning,
It looks like he's 15. He gets all excited about poll numbers and stuff.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but he says 100% of MAGA support Trump. Whatever that, let's say, for instance, 70 million people are MAGA. 100% of them you're saying support Trump. If that number changes to 60 million tomorrow, 100% of them still support Trump. The number can continue to dwindle. That's the difference.
I get it. Yeah, listen, I get what you're saying. I totally agree with you. I just thought I would bring it up to you.
Okay.
I think it's kind of funny. If you are no longer MAGA, the minute that you stop agreeing with the president, then I guess it would always, even down to the last man, be 100% approval rating for MAGA.
That is the way that a lot of you guys treat him. I mean, Liz Cheney, right up to January 5th, was MAGA. The minute she disagreed with him, what happened on January 6th, she became an outsider. Same thing with Mike Pence. Mike Pence was MAGA. Mike Pence was MAGA right up to January 5th. The minute he didn't, so all it takes is one thing and you lose it.
Hold on. You guys were just talking about Jesse Jackson.
And?
Okay, you did the same thing to Jesse. You did the same thing to Bernie. What do you mean, what? Don't what me?
What?
You
I don't even,
100%
why? Where the hell is Jesse? Where the hell is Jesse Jackson coming in?
You motherfuckers took. What are you talking about? Jesse Jackson ran for president. You guys did not support him. Are you that dense?
I was like 8.
Yeah,
You're going back.
I watched that happen.
Can you give me something?
Because y'all motherfuckers don't stand behind one another
Can you give me something that came out at least when they had CDs? I mean, you're going back to the 80s.
Bernie Sanders. Bernie
Sanders ain't a Democrat.
Sanders had he was the most popular Democrat.
No, he's not. Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. He's a socialist.
From that old man?
Bernie Sanders,
no. Like the J people?
You can't bring up, no, hold on. You can't. Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. He don't even call himself. He calls himself a socialist. He is not part of the party.
Sure doesn't now, does he?
He never did.
Same thing with Kamala. You guys you didn't even have a run-up. You didn't even have a damn
I don't get the comparison. We're saying that MAGA gets. We're saying that MAGA. What you're saying doesn't make sense. We're saying that MAGA gets rid of people based on just a single issue. No matter how much you've been riding with MAGA, just one thing wrong and they get rid of you. Give me a Democrat that happened to.
Fetterman. How do you feel about John Fetterman?
I'm not a big fan of him, but the Democrats aren't calling. The Democrats haven't gotten rid of him.
Don't walk lockstep. Democrats know you step one step out of line, and they will slap you in the next
Give me an example. Give me an example of a Democrat that got treated like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
John Fetterman.
Are you crazy?
I just did.
John Fetterman. No.
I'm not crazy.
Yeah, you are. John Fetterman is. Hold on. Let me respond to your Fetterman comment. John Fetterman ain't been representing the Democrats as hard as Marjorie Taylor Greene represented MAGA. Not even close. He's been disagreeing with Democrats on all kinds of shit. Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't disagree with Republicans on anything. That's a terrible comparison.
That's why you treat him the way we treat Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Give me a Democrat. Give me a Democrat that agreed with the party like 98% of the time. Like an AOC would be a good example. Give me an example. Give me somebody. Who?
I got one for you. Every one of you. Because 80% of you want the SAVE Act. Every one of you want the SAVE Act. You have 100.
You don't have any. You don't have any.
185 in the House today. They took a vote. They told all of you that voted for them, fuck y'all. We don't want secure elections. You
didn't have any. Give me a Democrat that wrote with the party on 90% of the legislation, and all they disagreed was one time, and they got kicked out of the party. Give me one of them. You don't have anybody. I can give you Pence. I can give you Liz Cheney. I can give you Adam Kinzinger. I can give you a bunch of them. Y'all don't done that too. Give me one.
You guys have done that too. Blagojevich, you've done. I mean, you guys run through them. Hey, I got another one for you. Al Franken. Al Franken didn't even disagree with you, dumbasses. He makes a joke. These people are. You guys throw him to the wolves. You do it. You eat your own, dude. We don't have to do that shit to you. You eat your own.
These people are close.
Do this all day, by the way.
Yeah, because you're doing it wrong. It's like you're telling your chick.
I'm doing it 100% right. You just don't like my answer.
It's like you're telling your chick, I can do this all alone. But yeah, because you're fucking her back. You're not even in her.
Hey, file cabinet up here, son. I have an encyclopedic mind.
You're crazy.
I will walk you like a.
This is what you call walking? This is what I'm
definitely walking you right now.
I'm officially getting walked right now. This is how this works.
Of course. No, you're not getting walked.
Damn right.
Hold on. Before you throw me, I gotta one more time.
Real quick.
Please go find your granny and tell her that I'm happy she's gone, but I wish she would come back. Okay? I'm happy she's gone, wish she would come back. To the Stick Derulas out there, to the Mo Bettas, to the Michael the employees, I'm glad you guys have your opinions. I appreciate you. I really do. It shows that this system works.
All right.
And you are the best of the bunch, because time after time I see these lives. No one's allowed to say a fucking thing in there. You can't disagree with anybody.
That happens.
And they toss people like kindling, okay? We disagree on a lot. But I'm telling you right now, you ever need me, I'm there.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Straight Talk. That's a good way to end it.
Later, buddy.
I'll go ahead and move it on. You're always welcome back. Appreciate that. Thank you. And he's right. We don't block, ban, or censor anybody. We don't have to agree. In fact, I favor folks I don't always agree with. That's why you see me in MAGA lives anytime I'm not in my own. But nevertheless, yeah, the idea that the Democrats have done folks equivalent to what the right did to Marjorie Taylor Greene, I could not. And listen, I would admit it. If I thought some Democrat was riding as hard with the party as Marjorie Taylor Greene, fucked up once and got treated like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I would admit that. The Democrats don't have a version of that. Now, he mentioned Fetterman. Fetterman has disagreed with Democrats on a whole bunch of stuff. He was the only Democrat that's, remember, the Democrats didn't stand at the State of the Union when Trump talked about illegal immigrants being in the country. Fetterman stood. He stood on that. The Save America Act right now. He is a senator that's in favor of that. No other Democrats are in favor of that. Yeah, Fetterman is kind of like Joe Manchin was when he was the senator of West Virginia. Fetterman disagrees with the Democrats on a lot of stuff. Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't disagree with Republicans on anything. So I don't see how the two are measuring up. Same thing with Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney, who is another individual that's been ostracized by the MAGA movement. She agreed with Trump on 95% of his first administration. She didn't like what happened on January 6th. They kicked her out. Like I mentioned before, up to January 5th, which is about 95% of Trump's term because they only had 2 weeks left, she was in good standing with MAGA. So was Mike Pence. So was Liz Cheney. So was, Adam Kinzinger, rather. A lot of them were. So the Democrats don't have versions of that. They don't. Anybody that votes with the Democrats 95% of the time, you're going to have them taking pictures with Nancy Pelosi and being really favored in the party. I don't get how he tried to compare Fetterman to the likes of, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I thought that was kind of wild. Anyway, tap the screen. I need you guys to get the program up to get the live stream. Or better yet, get the likes on up. Get us on up to 50,000. Or better yet, 90,000. 90,000. Okay, you guys are doing all right with that. But looking in the comments, we don't have a dear leader, says Gerald. Not at this time. I don't even think when Obama was in office, which is when the Democrat Party was probably the most united recently, I don't think even under Obama, if there was a Democrat that was like a Fetterman or something, I don't think the party would have kicked him to the curb as hard as, they literally sent Marjorie Taylor Greene like death threats and stuff like that. The Democrats, I don't think they get that far with it. We didn't like, what was it? What was the other girl? Kristen Sinema. The Democrat Party, I don't think they're not as wild with that like that. At least not right now. Anyway, moving on with the program, and I'm about to probably reset my computer because it looks like my browser is froze or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. Anyway, looking in the comments, Democrats actually pulled the trigger. Give me a politician that found themselves on the wrong side of the trigger. I think you're kind of making up stuff. Give me a politician that fits the narrative you're talking about. Puerto Rico for Trump. Really? Let me go back to the box. We'll go straight to Mike, the boss. Good evening, Mike. Schumer gave in to money and talk. They all give in to money and talk. Name a politician that doesn't do that. Mike, good evening.
What's up, Tim?
I don't know, man. Straight Talk put me in the trenches. So Straight Talk had a lot to say.
He has the brain power of a bowl of cornflakes. Listen, the man sat up here and lied right out the gate. First of all, there's 200 people in here. If you Google Canada's approval rating of Donald Trump 76% of Canadians disapprove of Donald. 76%. That is an easy search. But see, I took it a step further. I went and researched while he was flapping his gums. I went and researched, what do our allies think of us? What do our allies think? Our approval rating with our allies is below 50%. Our allies.
Well, well, obviously they didn't come and help with the Strait of Hormuz, so that's one example. But the tourism is down in this country significantly. So our allies are not even coming to the country. In fact, I just saw an article, or better yet, a video, something I didn't know. Remember the white South Afrikaners that came in by way of Elon Musk suggesting
the ones that left and said it's not?
Yeah, they're leaving. They're actually going back to South Africa. A bunch of them have went back.
Think about this. They were, according to Trump,
genocide.
According to Trump, they were escaping genocide. They said, "Fuck it, I'll go back to genocide before I stay here with your economy."
Yeah, that really proves. And Straight Talk is the one that says Trump never tells any lies, but that shows the whole genocide thing was false. Anytime these people are saying they would rather go back home where you claim there was a genocide, I mean, they got quotes, and I mean, they're interviewed on camera saying that, you know, America is dangerous or they can't survive here, things like they chose to go back to South Africa after we've been told they were going to they came from a genocide.
You got white folks, Tim, how bad do you have to be escaping genocide and be like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to genocide. I mean, I'm just going to go back. Yeah. I mean, shit. Your economy is so bad, I'd rather risk unaliving than stay here and try to figure out what you guys are doing with your economy.
Well, according to my last caller, Straight Talk, he's in the comments. He claims we didn't let them get on welfare. Huh?
Well, first of all, don't talk to us. Talk to your guy. He's the one that brought him over here.
Yeah, there's no way in hell, considering that they got met on the tarmac by members of the Trump. They looked out for them folks. I don't think there's no way in hell they would have let them come here and do that.
And they said